Namaskar. This is Babita Patnaik from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, along with Arijit Basu from Memphis, Tennessee, and Satya Gopal De from Kolkata, India, welcoming all of you wonderful audiences all over the world to ABS News Channel. Our guest today is Sharmila Sinha, who is a certified trainer and facilitator who has a MBA in human resources. Currently, she serves as division head of a professional capability development program and runs a YouTube channel. My first interaction with her was while browsing through the Instagram post where I came across a talk about how to work through your body language, how to train yourself, where you get the privilege of using your body language to your own benefit. So I was so impressed. And then as I browsed through her rest of the posts, I saw so many information I wish I had known 2 decades ago. So she is very empowering, a young lady with a lot of aspirations. Sharmila Sinha, welcome. Please welcome to our show. I'm very, very excited to share all your ideas and your information with the rest of the world. And welcome to ABS.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome and such a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much that I am here today. And I'm grateful that I am on a platform like ABS News Channel today and I'm able to put across what I think, what I believe, and what I'm working for. And I also want to showcase the organization that I'm working for and how empowering our vision is and how we envision development, refinement, and capability development ahead. Thank you so much for introducing me here.
Okay, so since I have already gone through the Instagram and I have talked to you earlier, so I kind of understand your professional development that you've done over the years. But I really would like you to share that initial journey and how it led to what you're doing right now. So our audiences would understand and relate to what this talk is going to be down the road in the next few minutes.
Definitely. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Uh, as we all know that none of our journey, maybe the professional journey, the personal journey, is always a cakewalk. Like all
Mhm.
of us have a lot of struggle to face and a lot of difficulties to defeat to move forward. There are a lot of failures to embrace, and I believe that these failures are very important in order to get the success that you dream of.
Mhm.
So I had also my piece of all those struggles, and the struggle is always on. So I started my career against my family's wish, to be very frank, when I was only 18. I wanted to work, just wanted to be independent and
Mhm.
earn my own expenses. So I just went to Delhi and started working in a KPO. And so, being an undergraduate, then I did my graduation, did a post graduation, moved into a bank. While I was serving a financial organization, I realized that this is a good job. This is a noble profession that I am into. A financial advisory, retail branch banking is everything very nice, but that was not something that I was looking forward to in my life. I wanted to interact with more and more people. I wanted to touch base lives as much as possible. And I wanted to make a difference, give some difference to somebody and give a part of me to everybody that I meet across. And I then decided to pursue my dream career of being a trainer or a facilitator. I took a very non-linear kind of a decision of leaving the financial sector and endeavoring to a different sector, the training industry. I had to compromise on a lot of things because I was all starting afresh. And then the journey as a trainer started in with multiple organizations, multiple learnings. Every organization gives you one or the other thing to learn, to practice, and the desired requirement, the power, the empowerment to move ahead in your life. And each and every organization and people that I have interacted with and crossed path with, they have given me a lot of learning. And then I took a big decision of leaving the existing job and going for a trainer certification, because I was doing a trainer's job, but it wasn't somehow satisfying me. So I took up the TEFL course. TEFL course is primarily teaching English as a foreign language, but apart from that, it teaches you a lot of talks about a lot of methodologies to improve your training upon, improve your interaction with the audience, to not only to train people, but to motivate, to help them evolve, carry back a lot of learning along with it, and be effective as a trainer. So being trainer is not a big deal, but to be effective as a trainer is very important, so that whatever you say, whatever you do, you leave something with the learner, leave something with the trainee, so that they can remember it for their lifelong and they can use the knowledge somewhere else. So I went up to take the TEFL course. I learned a lot of methodologies, followed by a TKT examination. That's a teaching knowledge test that I have taken, just to understand whether I'm really on track. It's a teaching knowledge test, is actually conducted by Cambridge.
Mhm.
So the Cambridge certification, the Cambridge assessment that I went through have taught me a lot of lessons again, because I had to prepare for it. And then I also appeared for TCBE. It's called a TESOL Canada Board Examination certification that certifies you on content development when it comes to learning methodologies, training methodologies. So, and then after I met my dream job and the dream organization called Blend Global Learning and Development. So again, I was noticed through this internet. When I happened to meet my boss across this YouTube channel, and then the dream journey all started. I got the position as a division head. I got a position as a leader, so that I can empower more and more people who are there with me, and I can touch base a lot of lives ahead by conducting training programs, by conducting a lot of programs, refinement programs, capability development programs ahead. And our organization is actually doing good. Blend Global Learning and Development is a 360-degree capability development organization which tries to bring the industry, the trainers, and the learners together under the same umbrella, under the same platform. And we have vertical for each of them. So for industry experts, we wanted to say something. Yes.
Yes. For the see, I have gone through your Insta post, so I kind of understand those three platforms that you offer, which is a
Yes.
little different. So I would like you to go in terms of what are those three platforms and what do they cater to? What kind of age and the professionals that caters to?
Right, I'll come into that. So as I've said, that we try to bring these three verticals together: the
Mhm.
industry experts, the learners, and the trainers. So we have, as I've said, that we have vertical for each of them. So for the industry, we have a platform called a Blend Talks Professional. I mean, Blend Talks we call it, in which we
Mhm.
invite an industry professional, people who have a lot of experience in terms of their industry presence, in terms of their knowledge. So they come to the platform, they decide, they talk about the current trends in the industry, they talk about what are the requirements, what are the skill sets they are looking for in the upcoming workforce that they're going to take in, and also about the prerequisites and dynamism that is going on in the industry, and that we are going to expect in next 5 years. So this
Mhm.
is how we are connected with the industry and the current trend. So we understand how this industry 5.0 is moving, and how dynamic it is, and how volatile it is.
Mhm.
And we now understand through these industry experts that how this human, I mean, everybody, all of us are working with AI, the artificial intelligence, shoulder to shoulder. So this is one platform. And then we have Chalk Capability Development Program, which is that the one that I am managing. So Chalk Capability Development is focusing on the learners. It is a program which is phased into uh, phase four, so 5 day, 15 day, and a 45 day and a 90-day module, through which we help them to be Professional refinement in terms of curated 75 professional skills that we have identified, along with some futuristic behavioral skills and futuristic social skills. As we understand that pre-COVID world and this post-pandemic world, this post-COVID world would be entirely different, and we would never be able to get back to what we had 2020 January. It wouldn't come back exactly the same way, and the digital interaction would be much higher when it comes to the job, profession, collaboration, businesses everywhere. So, 75 professional skills, and again the futuristic behavioral skills and social skills, which would be now required, along with the 21st century literacy skills and 21st century skills, primarily the communication, collaboration, the creativity, the critical thinking, and everything. So it's a holistic development that we try to give a learner so that the future ahead is easy for them. Every interview they take in future ahead would be a cakewalk for them, and also they would be future ready. So we cannot empower them to be, empowered always, but we can always prepare someone to be resilient, so to be strong from within, so that may what the situation come, the person is still resilient and has the capability of stand up again after a failure and move ahead. So
Um,
we personally, yes, please.
I know that's a lot of information, but let me decipher some of the verbiage you said, because you're talking in terms of all these digital world, which I am from a generation where I'm trying to decipher. I'm still getting used to the camera, having the confidence to speak, and that came through practice. Because I believe in old school. The more you practice, the more refined you are. But in this day and age, it's totally different. And I just want to bring the attention to all my audience. You have these courses by people who are professional camera. They are actually movie makers. They come and teach you how to face the camera, and that was something I was very intrigued by when I saw that in your page. And that was very creative by your agency for doing that. Because for people like us who all, I'm a therapist, I'm an occupational therapist. My job is to touch people, connect with them. But then when I'm put in this position, which this was one of my hobbies, and I kind of worked on it because I believe in social education, social awareness, and I love doing this. And that started after COVID, I mean, during COVID. So when I did that initially, I did not have these tips on where to look, how to feel comfortable, how to manage yourself right before the introduction. These are simple things, yet as you said, the body language that comes across. And now we're using virtual platforms to interview kids, and they might know a lot, they might be exceptional problem solvers, but the communication skills, they might not be able to convince the interviewer who would be on the other side because of certain body language they have. So this is amazing platform that you have, and I really want all the audience to go and check it out, especially for kids, because many kids, including my kids, they like to be behind the screen. Once you tell them to come on the screen, they completely freeze. Okay, so intelligence and emotional intelligence. Kindly talk to my audience about that.
Sure, definitely. So, as I was talking about the professional skills and the futuristic social and behavioral skills, now digital intelligence is something which is a must have futuristic skill. Sometimes it is a behavioral skill, sometimes it is a social skill that we need to talk about. So, let's decipher these two things
True.
separately.
Mhm.
So, we understand what is being digital when
Mhm.
the world is moving towards a phase wherein most of the things are now digital. We are collaborating, we are working, we are meeting people digitally, we are making, I mean, people are working virtually altogether nowadays. Now this is how what we call a digital world, wherein we have our own identity, we have our own citizenship, we have our own existence and entity digitally. Now
Mhm.
let's understand what is intelligence. When we talk about intelligence, there are three elements which comprises the term intelligence. First is the way you know. There are a lot of information around you, but how do you pick up this information? How do you synthesize that information within yourself, in your brain, is the way of your knowing. Your way of knowing, your way of perceiving, and my way would be completely different. So the way you do it, the way one individual does it. Second element is about the knowledge that you possess, and how do you process that knowledge, how do you use that knowledge when you go ahead somewhere. And third thing is that how are you able to effectively communicate with the world around. These three things, when put together, termed as intelligence. So now, if we club these two things together, I guess you will have a better understanding of what digital intelligence is. It is
Yep.
nothing but how you research, how you dig out information online, how do you use information technology to build upon your knowledge, how do you understand and use that knowledge that is available online, and how are you interacting with the digital world is digital intelligence. Now, to come to the next phase, what happens, every life, every work, every business, every personal life, everywhere we have challenges, difficulties, and a lot of demands of the situation. Now, once the world is changing to a digital one, the challenges, the demands, the difficulties, everything is changed. Now, the cognitive ability, the emotional ability to deal with those emotions and challenges your own way is digital intelligence.
Okay.
Third phase to it, one more perspective to look at it, is there are a lot of business which have transformed themselves completely digital. Like our organization, we are conducting all our training programs, all our enhancement programs, capability development programs online, and we are quite effective in it. So now, as we are completely digital, the information about our target group is taken from the internet. And how are we using that information, how are we interpreting and analyzing that information, is one type of a digital intelligence. And now, when it comes to using and preparing strategies out of those information, and how do we again implement that back to the digital world, is another type of digital intelligence. Yeah. So now there is one more thing that you have mentioned correctly, digital emotional intelligence. Now, as we understand, and for your information, emotional intelligence is, if I try to explain it, define it, it is the way you control, understand, identify, and use your emotions. How well you do that is your emotional intelligence. Now, as I said, that there are a lot of difficulties and challenges that come across in the digital world as well, and which are entirely different from what we face in our
Real life.
day-to-day life. So, how are you dealing? And they can give you a lot of stress and anxiety as well. So, how are you dealing with those emotions which you have during your interaction with the digital world? That is digital intelligence. Apart from that, we can also talk about digital security, which is also very utmost importance right
Important.
now. Digital identity, digital entity. No, my name is Sharmila Sinha, but I can be present in the digital world with a different identity altogether. I'm just a code in the internet. So how are we? How am I using that? Am I communicating politely and positively in the internet? Am I present in the internet positively? Those all things matter. Digital rights. What can I post in the internet? What can I do with a website that I build for myself? If I have my own YouTube channel, what can I do with it? How far I can go with it? These are a part of digital intelligence as well. And again, there is something called digital citizenship. That is very interesting. Digital citizenship tells you that how are you interacting with your world, how are you communicating with your world, how positive you are while you're interacting. So all these things are a part of digital intelligence. And yes, if I only talk about digital intelligence, it will take the whole
A
time,
whole.
because it's a vast thing to talk about. All I want to say in a sentence is that we must all now think about digital intelligence and mold ourselves according to the upcoming world's demand, and that
And
we
and
are doing. So, yeah.
and that is called adaptability, where you just go with the changes. And as human beings, we are talking about pre-COVID, post-COVID, during COVID, and we refrain ourselves from molding into the situation, and that also requires a lot of
True.
other aspects, other than for a new generation, like you said, generation X, I believe that's for
Z.
the young.
Z.
Okay, Z. Okay, sorry. So for them, they grow up with these transitions, so it's easier for them. For someone like me, who has not had these new concepts, for me, again, my mind is my hindrance. I'm so I'm I'm just afraid to try. I'm afraid to learn. So do you have something for people like us? Have you had a platform or something for people who would understand the basics? Because we want to learn, but we don't want to learn with the determination that you should know all this, because some of us, we don't know all of it. So how do you deal with that? That's one question. And the second question, the practical question, is with COVID-19, people have lost jobs, the businesses are failing, a lot of unemployment, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety related to not having financial security, and where the lives have completely stopped. So what exactly is your platform doing to address these needs, in all through the generations? It's not just one generation, all through the generations. So I guess I asked you 3 4 questions, but I'll let
Yes. So now, when it comes to the post-COVID world has changed, and I mean, we need a lot of people to assist each other in
right.
terms of moving out of the stress and the anxiety that we have actually faced through these time.
Mhm.
Now, what we do is that we try to hold a lot of discussion sessions, a lot of places wherein we talk about these difficulties, and we try to help each other in terms of identifying how can we traction each other when it comes to re-establishing things from a very beginning, from a very scratch, and how do we help them meet the ends. So the platform one is very important. So
Mhm.
through our various initiatives, what we try to do is that we try to make people more internet savvy.
Mhm.
So by
Yeah.
posting a lot of things in our social handles, if you're not comfortable with Instagram, you can go to Facebook. If you're
Mhm.
not comfortable with Facebook, you go to Twitter. If you're not comfortable with that, if you are somebody who is very professional, you can always go to LinkedIn. And we have, I mean, we have a lot of things posted there on a daily basis. We have emailers. We have a lot of things to knock people almost every day with small bits of information, so
let, let
that
let me add one, just a single point. So when I went in and saw, I have to agree to what you have to say. It's just like less than a minute read, but it's very concise, very clear, and it just stays in your head. I mean, you guys have done a wonderful job, so please go on.
So that's a team effort. I must acknowledge one of my colleague, Triyambika
Mhm.
Kosigi. She is wonderful in doing all these things, and she is
Yeah.
the one who creates these contents for us. And we agree upon certain things, and then we go ahead. So why it happens is we understand that not
Mhm.
everybody of us are the same platform. To be very frank, I would like to do a confession. 7 months ago, I wasn't that frequent in Instagram. I
Mhm.
knew that Instagram is something in which I cannot write anything in post. I will just have to post in pictures there. So I had a few pictures in posted there, and I connected with people. But after that, I mean, within next 6 months, I realized Instagram is not really a social media anymore. It is a channel you can network through, you can
Mhm.
collaborate through.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
trust me, I go live almost every day in Instagram. We get visits, we get a lot of views, and we talk for 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day,
Mhm.
just to
Mhm.
tell people how is the world changing and how we need to change ourselves and adapt to these things. For example, I'll tell you a single thing. Prior to this pre-COVID, the COVID situation, this pandemic, the primary uh, the emphasis was on the academic credentials of a student. When
Mhm.
you get hired to an organization, you get to skip the queue and reach the hirers on a priority basis if you have good academic credentials. But now it is no more that, because you know
Mhm.
how the academic credentials are now calculated. So now it is your skills and abilities and your cognitive abilities specifically which will take you ahead.
Mhm.
So bringing more to the internet, bringing more to the target audience and more to the people is what we are envisioning. And if we continue to do this for next 1 to 2 years, I guess so many people who are right now struggling with the change will be on track once again, and they'll find their own way of coping and handling this information online.
Thank you. I would like to bring my attention to another post that I was really touched by. Uh, Something it says about creativity. You have four stages: groundwork, incubation, eureka moment, and the execution. Okay, so groundwork and incubation is basically what's going on, and then the eureka movement is basically, if you relate to COVID, I always bring my people's perspective into the COVID situation, because that's what we need to work on. So when you say eureka movement, it could be something that you guys will excel in to help the people of every generation with so many issues that you have identified. And then that can lead to entrepreneurship when we do the execution the proper way. So,
Yes.
I really like that. Just kind of, caught my attention. I'm like, okay, creativity is this. It
Yes.
is that
Yes.
eureka moment. It is that
Yes.
execution.
True.
And of course, we are in the incubation period where everybody is trying to find
Yes.
a way where we cannot just go back to pre-COVID. We did this. That's what we're going to be good, because we cannot survive if we
Yes.
have that kind of uh,
Sure.
mental setup. I would like to have your views on personality development. If I would like you to just kind of talk about that, because that actually entails what you do too.
Right. So this is again, when we talk about personality development, it is something which is very vast. And although, to be very frank, this term itself is being used as a business proposition in most of the places, which is not always the way it should be. So, what we have decided, what we have planned, and what we envision is that it's not actually about personality development, it's about empowerment. We believe that if we empower you, if we armor you, if we equip you with all the desired skills and the prerequisites for a better future, you're on the track.
Mhm.
So, we directly do not talk about personality development, because personality is something that you have. You are unique, you are born with some unique attributes. And this brain networks cannot be changed in a single day. If you're habituated of talking in a certain way, if you're habituated in taking, perceiving things in a certain way, it's not always very easy to change you within a span of 15 days or 5 days or 90 days that way. What we can do is that we can help you to identify where are your pain points, where do you
Mhm.
find them, and how do you treat them.
Mhm.
This is a type of clinical thing that we do
Diagnosis.
with diagnosis that we do.
Diagnosis.
So exactly. So SWOT analysis is something which is a very old concept now for us. Now there are 16 PF. Now there is disc analysis there. Now there is psychometric test. Now there is multiple intelligence test, emotional intelligence test, and we have prepared everything. So now, if you come to us and if you want to understand how do I choose my career, how do I build on what I have right now, we will assess you first to identify where do you stand. And we believe this thing that nobody on this earth is underskilled. Everybody present here, every young population, everybody who is even 80, 85 years old have got potential. All we need to
Mhm.
do is to cut the diamond into the perfect shape so that it shines. So we have a lot of psychometric tests, And those psychometric tests have tests on communication skills, life skills, soft skills, emotional intelligence, learning style, multiple intelligence, to identify what are their capabilities.
Mhm. Mhm.
Once we identify the capabilities, we can easily identify where do we need to work upon. So these are all tailor made things, and this way, once we work exactly on the way it is required, if we treat the exact thing which is hindering the growth, personality will automatically develop.
Okay, so here are a few tips that I used for this interview. You had said when you are interviewing someone, you have to have an equation of 80, 10%, 10%. So I'm trying my best to listen, which is the most important part in a conversation when you bring the
True,
best out of your speakers.
true.
That has been very effective in my interview today. The second thing you said in your one of your skills is when you start your introduction, you go by a story, which again I use that. I have gone through your Instagram post, so I relate that. So I think it is also the way people take these tips and start experimenting,
Yes,
because it
yes,
does work. I
it
mean,
does work.
amazingly, all the stuff you said, you talked about body language, and I kind of thought about it. Before you go to an interview or you walk into the seat, the body language is often ignored. We only think about, okay, what are the questions they're going to ask? How do I look into the person's eyes? Because nobody tells you the way you walk to the chair is also the part of the interview, which you have highlighted. So I'm very excited because I like to imbibe all the new information that I get, and your Insta channel, your Insta handle should be watched. And would you like to tell me the name of your Instagram that people can
Yes.
follow?
Yes, it's blend underscore global. It's that simple.
Blender.
Blend
Okay.
underscore global. And as we were talking about the interview orientation, we have
Mhm.
a program specifically designed for people who are going to take interview in the near future, and that is not only going to help them in cracking the you know near interviews. It will be something that will be there till their whole life. It's a capability development in terms of interview preparation. So we
Mhm.
tell them not about what are the questions you're going to get and how you should answer them. We
Mhm.
take it from a different level altogether. We tell them what is the process, or how do you
Mhm.
understand what is interview. I mean, it is not a threatening process. There are a lot of myths around youngsters while we talk about interviews. So breaking those myths and trying to tell them to perceive the interview process differently, and we also tell them to understand the process from an interviewer's point of view. So he is sitting, an interviewer is sitting there to identify and pick the best one out of the lot. And how do you understand their emotion, their thinking, and act accordingly is how you win an interview. So there's an orientation program on interview skills there in place for us. And we understand that this is very important again,
Mhm.
because it's no more the academic credentials,
Yes.
it's about the skills and the
Yes.
abilities and the cognitive synthesizing process that you have in yourself.
Right. Um, few tips I would like from you. Okay. Let's talk about COVID. Okay. Um, I would like you to tell us how can we relieve our stresses? Like, you get very anxious when you step out of the house. We have mask on. We talk about Delta virus. It's so contagious. Even if you are vaccinated, you can still get it. So people who are COVID survivors, even though we say that India is going to open up soon, in like they're not going to open up. They still will have few lockdowns, but it is eventually going to open up. So, for a COVID survivor, how does he or she prepare themselves to deal with this anxiety, stress? I mean, how would you advise that? Because I mean, based on your platform, I know you do a lot of, as you said, cognitive education, behavioral therapies through your programs. So this, as a therapist, this is my question to you as to how you're going to tell your students not to be anxious when you go to school, or you tell your person you can go through the metros, but you have to be careful, but then there are people breathing next to you. How do they maintain that balance, and what do they have to do?
Thank you for asking this question. I'm a COVID survivor too. I guess you are too. So we understand how difficult
Yes.
it is for us to, when we get COVID and then we recover from COVID, the situation is different, and there's a
Yes.
lot of physiological issues that we face, and the effect is lingering. I have recovered, it's
Mm.
almost 2.5 months, and still I am facing multiple issues. And I'm sure everybody who has recovered and have fought back COVID knows what a person goes through when these things happen. So now coming to the stress and the anxiety thing, yes, COVID brings it in together. But
Mhm.
I want to add in few points before I get into how to relieve stress. I think everybody should know this. First is that all our body and mind has got our own mechanism, our own unique mechanism to deal with anxiety and stress. Now the biggest problem is that I think, who has stress? I think I have, you think you have. So a working professional thinks, the non-working, I mean, the housewife doesn't have any stress. All the stress is with the working professional. So now I'm a young person. I think that the people who have retired have no stress at all. My grandparents doesn't have any stress at all. And I think, as I'm working, so people who are still students doesn't have any stress. Students think once we finish a study, we won't have any stress because studies are so stressful nowadays. And this is the problem, wherein we do not think about others and we think about ourselves, that all the stress in the world, I am facing all these things together. So we will have to be empathizing a lot with other
Mhm.
people. Now, the
Mhm.
COVID survivors go through a lot of the issues. People who have not gone through it would never understand
Doesn't
how a
understand.
person feels when it happens that way. And I have craved a human touch for 25 long days, and I understand how painful it is. But
Mhm.
again, the same way, my body, my brain has developed its own mechanism to deal with it. And I can tell you a number of ways to relieve stress, but it may work for you, it may not work for you. So you will have to go. This is, I really about to name him our CEO, Mr. Saurabh Banwar. He was the go-to person. He's still the go-to person for me. And when I was stressed, I went to him and I asked him, what should I do? He said, I won't be able to help you. It's your, you have mechanism, you fight it out. All you have to do is to grab a pen and a paper and a solitude, sit back, identify 10 points, think about what things make you happy at this point of time, go and pursue them. I didn't have to, trust me, write 10 points. I have just finished in 3 points and I identified what makes me happy, and I fought back, rather I bounced back from the situation. And this happens. Now, eating, when I talk about, the more we cut on the processed food, the more we go natural, better for us. Processed grain, processed meat, processed sugar, it makes our body to compromise on the nutrients, and the moment we compromise on the nutrients, our brain doesn't get sufficient things to release chemicals and happy hormones, and that in turn makes us stressful and doesn't help us to relieve stress. So eating is one thing, that's just a way of it. And there are multiple things that we can also try. One is blowing balloon. So what happens when
Mhm.
you blow a balloon? You breathe in a certain pattern. That again
Mhm.
helps you.
Mhm.
And then smelling an orange. When you smell an orange, it gives certain
Very
signals to
nice
your
feeling.
brain. Yes, it gives you a very refreshing feeling. So it again
Mhm.
helps you to relieve stress. But I'm not sure whether it works with everybody or not. It
Mhm.
depends upon your level of stress and how you're dealing with it.
Mhm.
So another thing before I go to one more tip is that the more we focus within, better for
Mhm.
us. The more we focus outside, the more we focus on the thing, on the person, or the entity that is giving us stress, the more painful is the situation, and the situation is heavier. So the moment we bring the focus within ourselves, the control, the reins, and all, everything is in my hand right now, and I will be able to identify what makes me happy. And if at all I feel that avoiding an argument, avoiding fight or a disagreement is better for me, I will easily skip that. So bringing in focus back to yourself is very important. Then you can try, and this is good for kids as well. Not all video games are bad, I must say. There are a lot of calming brain games available and a lot of video games available which can calm you down when it comes to stress relief. And weightless, you can simply go to YouTube or any of the internet options and you can identify weightless. It is a part of the sound therapy. So if you do that, your heart rate can come down 10 counts. I mean, if at all it's the heart rate is right now 60, it will come down to 50 if you are listening to a sound therapy. And then taking a immersing in cold water or immersing in hot water according to your choice also relieves a lot of stress, because it gives positive signals to your muscles and that goes to your brain and it helps to cope with the stress that you have right now. And again, for me it's all eating. What you eat is what you
Yes.
reflect.
Oh, yeah.
So I believe in eating healthy, so
Yeah.
that helps me. And yes, one thing I have identified is that 10 glasses of water a day can work magic. I have experimented on myself, and I had recently suffered because I had been on a lot of steroids and everything, and I have been experiencing a lot of weight gain recently. And all I have started doing is to drink a lot of water. It is helping me to bring back the focus that I have lost. So that there was a time that made me anxious. It's a honest confession. Probably my boss is listening to me right now. Probably my colleagues are listening to me right now, but yes, there was a time I could focus on my work, and then I sat back again with the pen and paper and I identified that the thing that makes me happy is reading. So what I started doing is to read a lot, everything that came across, any interesting topic, any interesting blog, article online, and I started reading it through. And it helped me. Within just 2 to 3 days, I was back on track. And again, this therapy of water, the sound therapy, smelling orange, blowing a balloon, all these things worked for me.
Okay. I always add yoga and meditation. That's one of my forte.
True.
So I believe all of us have a certain school of, yoga or meditation we go to. And as you said, our brain is capable of forming its own chemicals, whether it's anger, frustration, or a feeling of joy. So I always try to bring that awareness to all the people that are listening, your students. So we have this ancient wisdom of using yoga, meditation. I know it's hard, but like you said, if you can sit down, anything you do in full awareness, for example, you like to talk to your students. So when you are doing that in full awareness, that is meditation, because you're putting in all your focus to that present moment. So it meditation doesn't just really mean that you sit in one corner, close yourself from the rest of the world. You can be in the world, focus.
Yes.
And that's what I also have.
Internally.
Yeah, I have gone internally with COVID, as you said. I also shared the same journey. And this platform where we bring in people like you who have solutions to the problem rather than nagging about the problem and using excuses. You came out of COVID and you are sharing your experiences, which is very, very empowering. Someone down there who is listening to us, they would look at us and like, oh my God, they are two survivors. They appear to be happy, so they are going to be benefited. So doing something for a social cause, being a part of the
Yes.
solution, these
Yes.
are things that we hear, but unless you do it practically, it doesn't empower you. I think what I also learned through my journey is when I am suffering, how can I empathize and be compassionate to another person who is in the similar situation? So when they heal, I heal. Okay, so that inclusiveness does come from yoga. So when you talk about creativity, that is one of the things that you said
Yes.
in your platform, is how to be creative. I think that
True.
definitely goes into the older wisdom of yoga. So would you like to say something about that and your personal experiences about meditation
Yes.
and some form of yoga?
True.
Yeah.
True. So I have, to be very frank, I have not been into formal yoga. I have not learned about it, but yes, I do meditation. And
Mhm.
there are 7 chakras that we talk about, and I have realized it personally, because yoga and meditation is something that everybody has the different take on. Your experience, the way you have experienced, you would never be able to explain it in words. What are your emotions and how do you feel when you are meditating? So, meditation is something that has helped me gain the focus from outside to inside. And
Yes.
it is wonderful when I we call it our guru. So we close our eyes when we think about her, and we think about our focus. I mean, powerhouses, our seven chakras, and we meditate on each of them. It gives a sense wherein I'm still in the world, but I am now more inside. I mean, not in the hands of others. I am very much in control of my own emotions.
Myself.
I'm very much of control of my own fate. And it gives you a sense, when I open my eyes, I feel that yes, this is something temporary. My body is suffering right now. This is something temporary, and I will get over it. And the power, the empowerment, and the feeling of happiness that comes in within you after a meditation, after listening to some chants, some mantras, it is immense. And this is something that I really can't explain. I would request all of the people who are listening to me right now to try it out once. There are a lot of things available. You can simply hear one or the two things out. Simply close your eyes, try to sit in a serene place. There are a lot of sound therapies available, listen to them. There are a lot of chants available, listen to them, and you will find it for yourself. And it is a type of happiness that you do not get anywhere else. The moment you connect with your soul, the moment you connect with your inner self, the pleasure is amazing.
It's really been an interesting. It's almost 45 minutes. We initially talked about 30 minutes, and we could still go on. But I would like to end our show here. But I would definitely encourage all my audiences to check your Instagram and your Facebook page, where they can find all these wonderful information. Very practical, very simple, very effective things that if you use, you can see results in your life. And your journey has been very inspiring. You've taken this non traditional linear path, as you said. You drifted from that, and you dare to do this exploratory, what is there for me, what is, and that I think has helped you to grow. And the platform that you are in right now is the need of the hour, where you guys will be entrepreneurs. And you already are in the path, and you will create jobs, which is the need to help with the economy. So I wish you all the best, and I will be in touch with you, and I will be looking at your pages regularly. And I wish you all the luck. And if you like to say a few words, and we will conclude the show.
Thank you so much. First of all, I didn't even realize that it's 45 minutes and we have been talking. You have been an amazing listener, to be very frank. And this is a very unique platform that was offered to me, and I could tell what I feel and what was my journey all about. I could speak about the organization that is envisioning a great impact ahead, and we are trying to do something for the society. We are trying to do something for the country. We believe that if we really want to envision development in a country, all we have to do is to empower learners. So we are doing it through our initiatives called Shark Capability Development Program, and one more platform is there, which is called Blend Talks Gen X. Again, a platform in which the learners, the students can come and talk about their knowledge and experience. You can always check out our Instagram post for that. It's blend_global. And then thank you so much, Orijita. Thank you so much, Babita ma'am, for this wonderful session. I didn't really realize it's already 45 minutes. So thank you so much once again. I thank everybody in the audience for their time, for listening me out, for hearing me out. And I'm present digitally, so you can always get back to me. You can always reach me. And I wish ABS News Channel all the success and all the great achievements ahead. You are giving platform to people like us to showcase and talk about what we are really thinking ahead. And all the best to ABS News Channel also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and all the best for your endeavor. And
Thank you.
like the world is such a small place, and we shall meet again. Hopefully, COVID-19 will all go away, or we will learn to live with the norm of, being safe, and just it will become an endemic rather than a pandemic that it has been. So, hoping that you touch lives like you do on a day-to-day basis. And it's my honor and my pleasure to have you as
Same
a
here.
speaker. And hopefully, all my audiences have enjoyed and learned. And again, I would request all of you guys to go and check her Insta and Facebook page. So, having said that, I would like to conclude. Um, all the best, and all of you guys have a wonderful week. We will come back again on the coming weekend with another program, and I hope you all like this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thanks. Namaskar. Bye bye.
Namaskar.